You have certain scenarios where it doesn't get recorded as sold until the buyer takes residency and occupancy and the title gets changed, which once again can happen 8 months after that specific buyer signed on the dotted line and agreed to purchase on paper. In today's video, we're gonna run down some new home sale figures, staggering numbers, both on the positive and the negative. We'll run them down and break them down for you. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate, as well as Remax Realtron Realty Inc. You can find my contact information in terms of my office, my Gmail, my Instagram, all that in the description box. As well, feel free to subscribe, comment, rate, and review if you enjoy these videos. Giving a like and subscribing would mean a lot. However, if you don't want to do any of those things, because I watch YouTube as well, and I always get annoyed when people ask and somehow force you to subscribe and put a like thumb on the screen. I don't want to be that annoying, so don't do any of those things if you don't want. Just live your life. Support if you want, but if you don't want to, feel free to dislike, unsubscribe, give me a bad review. But you know, enough of that. Let's get to the video. So today I'm going to run down some new home sale figures according to the latest BILD report. BILD is the Building Industry and Land Development. That's what it stands for. And they have some really good reports that come out on new home sale. Now here's an important distinction. These are not resale homes, these are new homes. And the previous reports, the TREB reports, those are resale reports. For newly built properties such as these, brand new, out the box, just constructed, never lived in before. The BILD Association has the best reports for those. So when you hear these numbers, please keep in mind that these are numbers for new properties, not resale. Off the bat, let's talk about single family numbers. So this is detached, semi-detached, freehold, not townhome stack, though that's not included here. But we see a 60+% increase year over year as compared to 2019. As you can see from this chart at the bottom of the screen, we had a drastic jump initially from 2018 to 2019, where the figure for GTA-wide for single family newly built properties, according to BILD, was about 300 in 2018. And then there was a drastic jump, about 800 or so, to 1,100 and plus in 2019, and we didn't see the equal amount of increase on pace, but nonetheless we saw a further increase for 2020, about 1,900 year to date properties sold, which represents, when you compare it to 2019, about a 60% increase. So in contrast to resale numbers, this is once again newly built. So a lot of these transactions actually occur months before the construction. Now, it's project to project. Certain projects, for instance, a builder is developing, let's say, 2 streets, 2 blocks of detached or semi-detached properties, maybe they require for that specific development 60% sold in terms of pre-construction before they actually start constructing, and then the remainder 40% they sell at some point, whether it's finally constructed or before it's finished. This is all to say that when we assess and analyze these numbers for newly built properties sold data, we have to do it differently as we do with resale property, because resale property, is sold, a transaction is recorded as sold at the time it occurs. But with newly built properties, it's a little bit more complicated. Hypothetically, you can have a situation where a transaction got recorded as sold 6 months prior, but it only got constructed now, or finished getting constructed now, or was about 60% through construction now, or vice versa. You can have a situation, have certain scenarios where it doesn't get recorded as sold until the buyer takes residency and occupancy and the title gets changed, which once again can happen 8 months after that specific buyer signed on the dotted line and agreed to purchase on paper. So that's why these numbers don't really lend themselves to breaking them down monthly, better quarterly, because of that long gap that may exist between signing and actually getting the keys. And for this purpose of this video, and actually BILD in this chart and the articles out, it's good that we're going through them on an annual basis, because once again, given the complexities involved with breaking down newly built properties and the data associated with them, it doesn't necessarily make the most sense to break them down on a monthly basis. Another thing we can derive from the single family portion of this chart is that most of the activity, the abundance of the activity, is occurring either in York or in Durham region. As you know from my previous videos a while back, I've broken down those numbers or those areas rather individually, and certain areas in Durham, they're seeing all-time high in prices, so it makes perfect sense why there is now the most amount of activity going on there in terms of new inventory, right? Not resale inventory, but brand new, newly constructed inventory that's coming onto the market. And within the last year, I've purchased 2 properties for my clients in Durham, and in both cases, these individuals who I purchased these properties for, my clients, can sell these properties, obviously since they're different property types for different prices, but nonetheless a substantial increase from the initial amount they purchased the property from, because Durham is seeing a lot of migration, and as a result a lot of increased demand, and it is limited supply, and prices for properties, for land, is skyrocketing there. Now let's look at the flip side of things, right? Brand new condominiums are struggling as well. Once again, these are not resale, but I've made plenty of videos about how resale condominiums in the condo market are struggling. Look at the brand new, according to this report in this chart. We take the last 3 years in GTA in terms of the condo numbers we see here. We see somewhat of like an inverse V. Like imagine an inverse V where the V is upwards like that, and we see that curve wherein if we were to overlay this on the chart, we will see that in 2018 to 2019 we saw a sharp increase going upward in terms of the number of sold, and then given this year, we've seen a decrease. So when we take in the last 3 years, the number of condominiums for new properties peaked last year in terms of, once again, new properties, and then it's declining this year. And we had an increase from 2018 to 2019 going from 2,700 to 3,600, and this year almost down to half, where it is 1,800 in 2020. So you see that V curve, or rather the reverse V curve, in terms of newly built condominium units and how they are doing in the market. Anyways, that's Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty. As always, breaking down some numbers for you. Feel free to subscribe, comment, rate, and review if you want. And get in touch with me if you have any questions. My phone number and my Instagram and my Gmail is in the description box. Feel free to get in touch with my office if you have any questions. Stay safe and happy holidays. Thank you very much.